Hugh Jackman just lit a fire under the entire industry, and at the center of it all, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Yep, them. The same couple we've all obsessed over with.
Blake Lively could do so much better than Ryan Reynolds.
Oh.
Whoa. Whoa. Actually, kind of. I mean, Jesus, right? I mean, yeah.
Hugh Jackman wants to bury the fact that he was with Blake Lively the night of the Answer Us premiere on the red carpet, while Justin Baldoni was allegedly banished.
As the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni legal saga intensifies, it's becoming painfully clear that Blake is desperate for a win, even if it means dragging her closest friends into a firestorm that has nothing to do with them. Now, Hugh Jackman appears to be the next target, with reports suggesting he could be subpoenaed by her legal team. Insiders, however, claim Hugh has zero relevant knowledge about the case. According to them, dragging his name into the headlines is purely a calculated move for media attention. The same source emphasizes that neither Taylor Swift nor Hugh Jackman actually know what's happening behind the scenes, and that rumors about subpoenas are nothing more than smoke and mirrors, designed to distract the public from the real issues at hand. The timing is suspicious too. Hugh's name only started circulating in connection to the Lively-Baldoni drama shortly before legal filings hit the public docket, leaving many to wonder whether this is less about justice and more about controlling the narrative.
And confronted with Blake Lively questions, and this is how he reacted.
Hey Hugh, any thoughts on Blake Lively winning her lawsuit? Thanks. Any thoughts?
Yes, I've got your.
Hugh, I just have one question, Hugh. Do you have any thoughts on Blake Lively?
All the best, mate. Have a good day. Have a good day.
How did you know that she was going to win her lawsuit, Hugh?
Have a great day.
During the unfolding Baldoni drama, Hugh Jackman reportedly received a private warning. Don't get too close to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds because they only look out for themselves. That warning came from none other than Taylor Swift, Blake's former best friend and the godmother to her 4 children. Taylor's insight carried weight. She had first-hand experience with Blake's pattern of forming alliances that serve her own interests. Around the same time Blake and Ryan faced intense public backlash, Hugh suddenly began appearing alongside them everywhere. Red carpets, private hangouts, public outings, always the supportive friend. On the surface, it looked like a spontaneous show of camaraderie, but sources say it was anything but. Allegedly, Blake and Ryan pulled Hugh into their orbit strategically, using his presence to bolster their public image and mitigate the growing negative press. And for a brief period, it worked. Hugh's enormous and loyal fan base extended immediate support to Blake and Ryan, lending them an aura of credibility and goodwill they desperately needed. However, Taylor reportedly pulled Hugh aside at one point to give him a stark warning. She explained that Blake and Ryan don't make friends in the traditional sense. They form alliances, and those alliances exist only as long as someone remains useful. The moment a person stops serving their purpose, they are discarded or replaced by a new ally. Taylor wasn't being petty, she was speaking from experience, having already navigated the fallout of her own relationship with Blake. The cautionary advice was clear. Hugh could be next in line if he ever ceased to be advantageous to their plans. Taylor Swift had already been dragged into this legal maelstrom from the very beginning. She was blindsided when she discovered that Blake Lively had allegedly threatened to name-drop her in connection with Justin Baldoni, a move that deeply hurt Taylor, especially given her dislike of being referred to as Blake's dragon. The humiliation only intensified when Taylor received a subpoena for a case she knew nothing about. Although the subpoena was eventually quashed, the experience left a lasting scar, shifting the dynamics of her relationship with Blake forever. Taylor's trust evaporated when she realized that Blake was willing to use her as a pawn in her own legal battles, without warning, without consent, and without regard for their years of friendship. The situation escalated when Taylor learned through her lawyer that Blake had allegedly been blackmailing her, threatening to leak private text messages and personal details spanning over a decade of friendship in order to coerce Taylor into publicly siding with Blake in the Justin Baldoni lawsuit. The subpoena Taylor received from Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, was reportedly based on evidence showing that Blake had pressured her to provide support in court documents. Insiders say these texts contained intimate details about Taylor's personal life, relationships, and confidences, information that Blake allegedly weaponized to manipulate her. Michael Goddell, Blake's lawyer, reportedly contacted Taylor's attorney demanding a public statement of support and hinting that failure to comply would result in the release of private messages. For Taylor, this was the final straw. The threat, the manipulation, and the public humiliation drove a wedge irreparably between them. Gossip blogs quickly seized on the narrative, further amplifying the damage. Taylor realized, painfully, that despite Blake's attempts to present herself as loyal and trustworthy, her so-called friend was willing to betray, manipulate, and blackmail to serve her own ends. The friendship that had once seemed unbreakable was permanently shattered. Taylor Swift realized, painfully, that Blake Lively would always prioritize herself, and she vowed not to let anyone else endure the same betrayal. The irony was stark. While Blake was allegedly using Taylor's private texts as leverage to threaten her, she simultaneously tried to prevent Justin Baldoni's legal team from accessing those same messages, fully aware that they could implicate her in the ongoing disputes. Of course, some of the texts might have revealed nothing incriminating at all if Blake's claims about discussing It Ends With Us with Taylor were accurate. But the potential risk alone was enough to create panic. Ultimately, U.S. District Judge Louis Lyman ruled that Justin Baldoni's legal team could access all communications between Taylor and Blake. The judge noted that since Blake had represented that Swift had knowledge of complaints or discussions about the working environment, the messages were relevant to proving or disproving Lively's harassment and retaliation claims. This decision sent Blake's team into a frenzy, fearing that the texts might expose her as either dishonest or a disloyal friend, or both, while once again dragging Taylor into the public spotlight. This exposure also clarified why Taylor felt compelled to warn Hugh Jackman. Seeing Blake and Ryan's pattern of manipulative alliances and public image management firsthand, she wanted to prevent Hugh from becoming yet another pawn in their legal and PR chess game. Meanwhile, Blake and Ryan's actions continued to astonish even their closest friends, including Hugh, as new filings and legal maneuvers revealed increasingly strategic and high-stakes tactics. Most recently, Blake even withdrew 2 of her claims against Justin Baldoni, a move that insiders say was designed to tighten her legal positioning while maintaining maximum public control over the narrative.
Praise the Lord, she is healed! This week, Blake Lively withdrew her claims of emotional distress in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. Now, Blake has been asking the judge to dismiss her from Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, and now she's withdrawing these claims after they asked her to provide some evidence. So Blake was suing Justin for intentional infliction of emotional distress and negligent infliction of emotional distress, meaning he wanted to hurt her, and he also did so negligently. And after Baldoni's team said, okay, prove it, show us your emotional distress, she said, LOL, judge, JK, never mind.
Things couldn't get any shadier. Blake Lively's lawyers reportedly requested the right to refile the claims she had previously withdrawn, a move that would allow her to dodge providing sensitive documents to Justin Baldoni's team, while keeping the option open to resurrect those claims at a later, strategically convenient moment, presumably when she believes his lawyers won't demand the records. The timing of this maneuver immediately raised eyebrows, with insiders calling it a textbook example of legal chess combined with PR strategy. The situation becomes even more tangled when you factor in Blake and Ryan's alleged behind-the-scenes operations. Sources claim the couple has been covertly coordinating with content creators, influencers, and bloggers to spread selective misinformation about Justin Baldoni. But it doesn't stop there. These channels are reportedly being used to shape public perception of their friends, including Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman, pressuring them into publicly supporting Blake, even if they'd prefer to stay neutral. Among those allegedly enlisted in this campaign is Dr. Leslie Dobson, a forensic psychologist who has inserted herself as a self-appointed expert on the Lively Baldoni saga. By lending an air of authority to the narrative, Dobson's involvement amplifies Blake and Ryan's messaging, blurring the lines between legitimate commentary and orchestrated public relations. The result is a meticulously engineered effort to control both the courtroom and the court of public opinion, keeping allies close, skeptics at bay, and adversaries under pressure. While Dr. Leslie Dobson shares her opinions online like any other internet user, many observers suspect she is collaborating closely with Blake Lively. Her commentary frequently stretches or selectively frames facts about Justin Baldoni to support narratives that benefit Blake, blurring the line between independent analysis and strategic PR. It's becoming increasingly clear that much of what circulates online in connection to the saga is carefully orchestrated, designed not just to influence public opinion, but to shield Blake and Ryan's interests amid the ongoing high-stakes legal battle.
Away from 18, so it was an essay. I would be a rich lady, and that is why I believe Blake Lively. I believe that she was SA'd, SH falls under SA in the law. I believe it's true. And the statement she just came out with, or her lawyers, is true. I don't really like Blake Lively. So I thought, well, in this 80-page complaint, she details how he hired a sophisticated PR team to ruin her reputation. And they did an excellent job. They actually looked at TikTok. They looked at social media.
Rumors have been swirling that Justin Baldoni mistreated people in college, was a difficult boss, and manipulated others. But insiders claim many of these stories were deliberately planted by individuals allegedly paid by Blake Lively to do her dirty work. Journalist Kirsty Flaw recently revealed on her channel, Fly Awesome Talk, that she possesses receipts and evidence indicating Blake orchestrated the dissemination of these false narratives. According to Flaw, supposed HR complaints with suspiciously redacted names and timestamps were allegedly created and leaked to the media under Blake's direction. These documents, insiders say, were part of a calculated attempt to manipulate public perception of Justin, painting him in an unflattering light while protecting Blake's own reputation. The orchestrated nature of these leaks suggests a coordinated strategy designed not only to shift blame, but to weaponize gossip, turning media attention into a tool of legal and social leverage in the ongoing conflict.
Not to mention, yes, Baldoni's lawsuit was dismissed, but the New York Times was dismissed too. So Friedman, lawyer, you getting what, 40, 50,000 a week? Everything just got dismissed?
Ironically, while Blake Lively was allegedly coordinating with others to spread false narratives on social media, she simultaneously accused Justin Baldoni of improper communications and leaks. According to YouTuber Perez Hilton, Blake's legal team claimed that Justin and his associates were engaging in underhanded tactics, supposedly uploading court documents to a server, sharing passwords, or making them publicly accessible so journalists and content creators could view them, all without leaving a paper trail. Despite these allegations, insiders note that there was no concrete evidence linking the leaks to Justin's team, raising questions about whether the accusations were intended more as a strategic move to deflect attention from Blake's own orchestrated efforts. In other words, while publicly portraying herself as the victim of leaks and misinformation, Blake was allegedly running a parallel campaign to shape public perception and manipulate media narratives in her favor.